Book 4, Crown of Ashes, Final Book. Chapter 1, Blood on the Waves. The Sicilian sun hadn't even risen when the first bullet shattered the glass. Callan was halfway to the kitchen, bare feet on cool tile, when the villa's windows erupted in shards. She hit the floor hard, instinct snapping into place, heart pounding. Alani. From the bedroom, Alani emerged in silk and fury, pistol already in her hand. Her storm-gray eyes locked on Callan, then the courtyard where shadows moved, mercenaries, black-clad, rifles raised. Her smirk curved even as glass crunched beneath her steps. "Seems we've worn out our welcome, sweetheart." Callan groaned, dragging herself upright. "You think?" The first man through the door never saw it coming. Alani shot him clean between the eyes, her robe whipping as she pivoted. Another dropped before he could fire. Callan grabbed her weapon from the counter, returning fire through the blown-out windows. "They're too many. We need to move." "Then move," Alani growled, grabbing her wrist and pulling her through the smoke. They tore down the villa's back stairs, sirens wailing faint from the road below. The smell of gasoline clung to the air. Whoever came had come to burn them alive. In the garage, a jeep waited. Callan vaulted in, hot-wiring it with trembling hands while Alani covered the door. Bullets sparked against the frame. One grazed Alani's arm, tearing silk and skin. She hissed, but didn't falter, her pistol barking with precision. "Alani." "I'm fine," she snapped, voice molten. "Drive." The jeep roared through the gates, iron shattering under its wheels. Mercenaries scattered as Callan swerved, tires screaming against stone. Behind them, the villa exploded, flames rising high against the dawn, black smoke billowing into the sky. Callan's jaw clenched, hands tight on the wheel. "There goes home." Alani's storm-gray eyes burned as she looked back at the inferno. "Homes can be rebuilt. Graves can't." She leaned closer, voice a whisper sharp enough to cut. "And I will bury every one of them for this." By the time they reached the cliffs, another boat was waiting. Sleek, black, and unmarked. Callan stared, breath ragged. "Please tell me you didn't stash this here just in case." Alani smirked, blood dripping down her arm. "Sweetheart, I stash things everywhere. It's why we're still alive." As the boat cut into the Mediterranean, the burning villa shrinking behind them, Callan bandaged her arm, frustration and fear crashing inside her. This wasn't hail. Not just hail. Alani's lips curved, slow and dangerous. "No, this was bigger. This was the crown reminding us who really pulls the strings." Callan met her gaze, heart pounding. "Then we cut the strings." Alani leaned close, kissing her slow and deliberate, tasting smoke and salt. "No, darling. We burned the whole damn puppet show." Chapter 2, Kenzie's Crossroads. The safe house in Marseille smelled of damp stone and stale cigarettes. Callan hated it on sight. Alani, of course, made it her throne, perched on the edge of a battered sofa, storm-gray eyes sharp despite the bandage at her arm. Callan paced, restless. "We can't keep hopping safe houses. Every time we stop, they find us faster." Alani tilted her head, smirk curving. "Sweetheart, you pace like a caged wolf. Sit. Breathe." "Breathe? We just lost our home, Alani." "Then we'll build another," Alani murmured, too calm, too certain. The door opened with a creak. Callan raised her gun before the figure stepped fully into the light. Her breath caught. "Kenz." Alani froze. Her sister stood in the doorway, drenched from rain, dark hair plastered to her face. Her eyes were wild, red from crying, sleepless nights etched into her skin. "Don't shoot," Kenzie whispered, lifting her hands. "I came alone." Silence carved the air into knives. Callan lowered her gun slowly, but Alani didn't move. Her body was rigid, fury coiled tight beneath the surface. Kenzie stepped inside, dripping onto the floor. "You're both being hunted. Interpol's doubled the bounty. And the crown," her voice cracked. "They won't stop until you're ash." Callan's chest tightened. "Then why are you here?" Kenzie's gaze snapped to Alani. "Because you're still my sister. And I don't want to watch you die." Alani laughed, a low, bitter sound. "You've betrayed me once already, darling. Don't dress yourself in loyalty now. Kenzie flinched like the words were bullets. I was desperate. They cornered me. You sold me, Alani hissed, storm gray eyes burning. You put a knife in my back and called it survival. Callan stepped between them, voice sharp. Enough. But Kenzie's tears spilled over, voice ragged. I came to make it right. Ward. Interpol, they want you delivered, but I can get you intel instead. I can help you get to Monroe. Alani stood slowly, every movement deliberate, dangerous. And why should I believe you? Kenzie met her gaze, trembling but unbroken. Because I'd rather burn with you than live knowing I let them take you. The silence after was raw, jagged. Finally, Alani exhaled, the storm in her gaze shifting. You've chosen your side at last. Kenzie nodded, tears streaking her face. Yes, but it might kill us all. Alani's smirk returned, sharp as broken glass. Then let's make sure it kills the right people first. Chapter 3. Ghosts in the Glass. The Berlin Gala gleamed with gold and glass. Chandeliers hung like frozen fire, violins filled the air, and politicians danced with men who could buy nations. Callan tugged at her collar, uncomfortable in the tux Alani had chosen. Every time you drag me to one of these, I feel like a fraud. Alani, radiant in crimson silk that clung like danger, adjusted his bow tie with slow, lingering fingers. Sweetheart, frauds lie. You just smolder. Callan's lips twitched. You're impossible. And irresistible, Alani purred, storm gray eyes gleaming. Kenzie trailed a step behind them, dressed simply in black, eyes darting across the glittering crowd. She wasn't used to this world, Alani's world. The weight of it pressed down on her like chains. You really think Monroe will show? Kenzie muttered. Alani's smirk curved. Oh, darling, Monroe loves mirrors. And what's a gala but one giant mirror for men who think they're kings? They spotted him near the bar, Monroe, older now, but arrogance untouched. His suit was immaculate, his hair slick, his smile sharp as glass. He spoke with a cluster of financiers, laughter spilling too easily, too loudly. Callan's fists clenched. I could end this now. Alani's hand brushed hers, steady and deliberate. Not yet, sweetheart. Cut the strings, not just the puppet. The moment shattered when the lights cut out. Darkness. Then gunfire. Screams split the gala as glass exploded from shattered windows. Men in black surged in, rifles blazing. Guests dove for cover, chandeliers swaying above. Callan dragged Alani behind a marble pillar, firing into the chaos. Kenzie crouched beside them, breath ragged. This isn't Interpol. This is. The crown, Alani finished, voice molten with fury. Through the smoke, Monroe's laughter echoed. You think you can touch me, Alani? You think you can stop me? His voice carried over the chaos, taunting. You're still just a thief playing queen. And queens fall hardest when the board tips. Callan cursed, bullets sparking off marble inches from her head. He's getting away. Alani leaned out, firing 3 precise shots that cut down the nearest gunman. Her storm gray eyes blazed as she turned back to Callan. Then, let's tip the board first. They fought their way through broken glass and screaming bodies, but Monroe slipped through the chaos like smoke, vanishing into the night. When the shooting finally stilled, the gala lay in ruins, blood on marble, gold dripping with ash. Kenzie leaned against a shattered column, eyes wide. We're not fighting men anymore. We're fighting a machine. Alani's smirk returned, sharp and unyielding. Then we burn the machine. Chapter 4. Hale's War. The warehouse smelled of oil and rust, shadows stretching long across the concrete floor. Callan swept her flashlight across the space, tension biting through her muscles. This feels wrong, she muttered. Alani walked ahead, unbothered, her heels clicking sharp. Of course it feels wrong, sweetheart. It's Hale. Kenzie stayed close behind, hand tight on her pistol. Then why are we here? Because, Alani said smoothly, when wolves howl, you don't run. You answer. The voice came from the dark. Raw. Ragged. Alani Kahue. Hale stepped into the light. Scar tissue split across his face, jaw twisted slightly, one eye clouded. But his body was still iron, his weapon steady. Callan's breath hitched. Jesus, Hale. He sneered. Still breathing. Which is more than I can say for half the people you've left behind. Alani smirked, unshaken. Darling, you should have stayed buried. The grave suited you. Hale's laugh was jagged, bitter. You think you've won something? You've burned cities, killed men who never even knew your name. But me? I know you. I know what you fear. His eyes flicked to Callan, cold and vicious. You're not afraid of death. You're afraid of her leaving you. Callan stiffened, fury flaring in her chest. Shut the hell up. But Hale stepped closer, his voice rising. You hide behind her fire, Gibson. But fire burns. And when she's done with you, you'll be nothing but ash. Alani's storm gray eyes flared, and for once the mask slipped. She raised her gun, voice molten. Say her name again, Martin. I dare you. Hale's smirk curved, cruel. Callan. The room detonated in gunfire. They dove for cover as Hale's men poured from the shadows. Bullets ripped through steel, sparks raining down. Callan fired blind, heart pounding. Kenzie yelled, taking down two with sharp precision. Through it all, Alani strode like a storm unleashed, gunshots clean, movements fluid, her fury aimed squarely at Hale. He retreated, firing as he backed toward a stairwell. This isn't over, Alani. I'll rip her from your arms if it's the last thing I do. Then he vanished into the dark, his laughter echoing like a wound. Silence fell heavy after the last shot. Callan leaned against a wall, shaking, adrenaline ripping through her. Kenzie was pale, her hands trembling. He's unhinged. He won't stop until one of you is dead. Alani reloaded calmly, storm gray eyes still burning. Then he dies. She turned to Callan, her voice softer, dangerous in its intimacy. Sweetheart, no one takes you from me. Not even hell itself. Chapter 5, Sisters at War. The Marseille safe house creaked in the night, wind rattling shutters against stone. Callan sat at the table, cleaning her weapon in silence, while Alani leaned back in her chair, sipping wine like they hadn't just been shot at by Hale hours ago. Kenzie slammed her palm against the table, shattering the quiet. You can't keep doing this. Alani didn't even flinch. Doing what, darling? Winning. Kenzie's eyes burned, her voice shaking. Dragging her into your war. Every step we take, Callan bleeds for you. For your empire. For your obsession with burning down anyone who gets in your way. Callan froze, rag in hand. Alani set her glass down carefully, storm gray eyes narrowing. You think she doesn't choose? Sweetheart, tell her. Callan's throat tightened. Alani. But Alani's smirk sharpened. Tell her you're here because you want to be. Because you're mine. Kenzie's voice cracked like glass. You're not her queen, Alani. You're her cage. Alani shot to her feet, storm erupting. I am the reason she's alive. You think your precious bureau would have saved her? They would have chewed her up and spat her out. I keep her breathing. I keep her whole. Kenzie stepped forward, fists clenched. You keep her chained to your fire. And one day, it'll burn her alive. The sisters faced each other like mirrored storms, blood, betrayal, love twisted into knives. Callan slammed her hand against the table, fury bursting through. Enough. Both froze, turning to her. Callan's chest heaved, her voice rough. I'm not a pawn. I'm not a prize to fight over. I'm here because I choose to be here. With her. With you both. But if you can't stop tearing each other apart, we're all dead. Kenzie's eyes shimmered with tears, but her jaw held firm. Then one of us has to bend. And it's not going to be her. Alani's lips curved into something sharp, but softer than before. She stepped closer, brushing her hand over Callan's cheek, eyes never leaving Kenzie. Sweetheart, she whispered, voice low, I don't share. Kenzie's fists trembled, but she didn't strike. She just turned away, shoulders rigid, storm raging behind her eyes. The silence after was heavy, broken only by Callan's uneven breathing and Alani's steady presence at her side. And somewhere in the night, Hale's laughter echoed in memory, feeding on the fractures between them. Chapter 6, Breaking the Crown. The crown's stronghold wasn't gilded like Berlin's Gala, it was iron and glass, buried in the heart of Zurich's financial district. Towering skyscrapers lit the night sky, Each window another eye watching, another weapon hidden behind polite smiles. Callan adjusted the comm in her ear, scanning the alley as rain slicked the pavement. Feels too clean. Too easy. Alani smirked as she checked her pistol, crimson lips curving. Darling, that's Zurich. They like their blood washed before the papers see it. Kenzie crouched at the rear entrance, fingers flying over the keypad. Give me a minute. Alani arched a brow. You've grown useful, sister. Kenzie shot her a glare. Don't push me. The door clicked open. Inside, the stronghold gleamed sterile, white walls, mirrored glass, polished steel floors that echoed with every step. Callan's stomach twisted. This isn't a stronghold. It's a laboratory. Alani's storm gray eyes flicked across the rows of locked rooms. Shadows moved behind glass, men and women bound, interrogated, broken. Her voice dropped, molten with rage. They're not laundering money. They're building obedience. Kenzie's hand trembled on her pistol. God. Alarm shrieked. The Crown knew they were inside. Figures in suits emerged from the shadows, not mercenaries, professionals. Cold-eyed, silent, weapons raised. Callan dove behind a column, firing. The air split with gunfire, bullets sparking off steel. Kenzie took cover at her side, fear flashing in her eyes, but her aim was steady. She dropped one, then another. They're trained. Not like Hale's dogs. Alani strode into the open like she owned the place, her furious storm unleashed. 2 shots, 2 men down. Her smile curved sharp. Trained or not, they bleed. They pushed deeper, fighting through glass corridors, until they reached the server room, rows of machines humming with secrets. Callan slammed a drive into the console, eyes flicking over files spilling across the screen. Offshore accounts. Names. Politicians. Weapons caches. Enough to burn the Crown down from the inside. Alani's voice sharpened. Take it all, sweetheart. Evidence is fire. They won't survive the blaze. But before Callan could finish, a familiar voice echoed from the doorway. Well, well. The Ice Queen and her pet wolf. Monroe. Dressed immaculate, tie loosened, a pistol lazy in his hand. Behind him, Hale loomed, scarred face twisted into something feral. Monroe smirked. You really think you can break the Crown? You've just walked into its heart. And hearts are so easy to stop. Chapter 7. The Final Hunt. The server room's glow-lit Monroe like a stage. Immaculate suit, pistol steady, smirk dripping arrogance. Hale loomed behind him, scarred face twisting into something feral. Ladies, Monroe drawled, and stray dog. Welcome to the end of your rope. Callan's jaw clenched, finger brushing the trigger. Funny. I was about to say the same thing. Hale stepped forward, voice raw. Drop your gun, Gibson. Do it, or I paint these walls with your queen's blood. Alani's storm gray eyes burned. She took one slow step closer, defiance in every line of her body. You'll have to shoot through me first, Martin. And you've already missed your chance. Hale's hand trembled, rage and obsession warring in his eyes. You don't get to take her from me. She doesn't belong to you. Alani smirked, lips curving sharp as glass. Sweetheart, she purred, sliding her eyes to Callan. Tell him who you belong to. Callan raised her weapon, steady, unflinching. Not him. The room detonated in gunfire. Kenzie dove behind a server bank, returning fire with sharp precision. Callan rolled for cover, heart hammering, bullets sparking inches from her head. Alani didn't hide. She strode through chaos, guns spitting fire, every shot deliberate, lethal. One man dropped. Then another. Monroe retreated, barking orders, his smirk gone. Kill them. Burn it all if you have to. Hale lunged at Callan, tackling her hard into the steel floor. Her gun skittered away, his hand crushing her throat. You think you can stand beside her? He snarled, spit flying. She'll destroy you, Gibson. She destroys everything. Callan's vision blurred. Desperate, she slammed her knee up, twisting, shoving him off. Her hand found her knife, buried it deep in his side. Hale roared, staggering back, blood dark against his shirt. Alani was there in an instant, storm gray eyes blazing, pistol raised to finish it. Alani, no. Callan rasped, grabbing her arm. Monroe slipped through the smoke, escaping with files clutched under his arm, his laughter echoing back like a wound. You can't kill us all. The crown is eternal. The glass corridor shattered as he vanished into the night. Silence fell heavy, broken only by Hale's ragged breaths. Kenzie stepped out from cover, pistols still trembling in her hands. Do we finish this? Alani's gaze locked on Hale, fury and pain twisting through her. Her finger tightened on the trigger. But Callan's voice broke the storm. Not here. Not like this. We need Monroe. They left Hale bleeding, howling in the dark while the stronghold burned around them, servers sparking, alarms wailing, Zurich's heart collapsing into ash. And as they vanished into the night, Alani whispered against Callan's ear, low and molten. Next time, sweetheart, I don't let him crawl away. Chapter 8. Ashes of Wolves. Vienna's old opera house burned with floodlights and gunfire. The crown had chosen it for their summit, one last meeting of men who thought themselves untouchable. But tonight, it was a grave. Callan crouched on the rooftop across the street, rifle steady, eyes scanning the gilded facade. Too many guards. Heavily armed. Alani, beside her in black leather, adjusted the strap of her pistol with slow elegance. Darling, when have odds ever mattered to us? Kenzie checked the charges wired to the scaffolding. Once we light this fuse, there's no going back. Alani's smirk curved, storm gray eyes blazing. Good. I've always hated encores. They breached from above, glass shattering as they dropped into chandeliers and chaos. The room erupted in screams, music cutting off in a discordant wail. Monroe stood at the head of the table, his smirk faltering for the first time. Hale was at his side, pale from blood loss, but grinning like a man already dead. You came, Monroe said, voice cracking. Alani leveled her pistol. We finish what you started. The firefight was madness. Gilded balconies collapsed under gunfire, velvet curtains burned, statues shattered under stray bullets. Kenzie moved like a shadow, her aim surgical, cutting down men twice her size. Callan fought tooth and nail, pistol barking, knife flashing when the fight grew too close. But it was Alani who burned brightest, her furious storm no wall could contain. She fought with precision and rage, every shot aimed at the two men who had hunted her across continents. Monroe tried to flee through the orchestra pit. Callan cornered him, pistol raised, heart pounding. He lifted his hands, smirk twitching. Your bureau, Gibson. You don't kill in cold blood. Callan's eyes burned. I'm not bureau anymore. The shot was clean, final. Monroe fell, his smirk breaking for the last time. On the stage, Hale roared, dragging a broken chair leg as a weapon, blood soaking through his shirt. He lunged at Alani, obsession driving him beyond pain. You're mine, Alani. If I can't have you, no one will. Alani met him head-on, storm-gray eyes unflinching. Their struggle cracked across the stage, with splintering beneath them. Finally, Alani drove her blade deep into his chest, twisting until his roar became a gasp. She leaned close, lips brushing his ear as the life left him. I was never yours. I am hers. Hale collapsed, the stage swallowing him in silence. The opera house burned. The last of the crown's wolves lay dead. Callan stumbled to Alani, pulling her close, both of them bloodied, bruised, but unbroken. Kenzie stood over Monroe's body, tears streaking her cheeks, but her spine straight. For the first time in years, Alani exhaled like she'd laid down a crown she'd never wanted. It's done. Callan cupped her face, lips brushing hers, whispering the vow that sealed it. Then let's start living. Chapter 9. Storm Set Free. The opera house lay in ruins, smoke curling into the Vienna night. Sirens wailed in the distance, but for once, Callan didn't care. She leaned against a marble column, breath ragged, blood streaking her face. Alani stood before her, crimson gown torn, storm-gray eyes softer than Callan had ever seen. It's over, Callan whispered. Alani's lips curved into a faint smile. No, sweetheart. It's beginning. Kenzie limped toward them, face pale, eyes rimmed with tears. She dropped Monroe's encrypted drive onto the broken stage. Everything's here. Accounts. Deals. Names. The Bureau can't ignore this. Callan picked it up, the weight heavy in her hand. Evidence not just to clear their names, but to burn every ghost that had chased them. Kenzie's voice shook. We can walk away clean. You two could be free. Alani reached for Callan's hand, threading their fingers together. Free, she repeated, the word tasting strange, dangerous, and beautiful on her tongue. Outside, dawn broke over Vienna, lights spilling across ash and stone. For the first time in years, Alani didn't feel like she was running. She turned to Callan, her voice molten but tender. What do we do now, sweetheart? Callan pulled her close, lips brushing hers in a kiss that wasn't desperate, wasn't frantic. It was steady. Certain. We live. Epilogue, fire into dawn. 2 months later. A villa on the Amalfi Coast, sunlight warm across the sea. No guards. No guns. Just open windows and salt air. Callan stood barefoot on the terrace, coffee in hand, watching Alani argue with a lemon tree in the garden. You're not symmetrical, Alani muttered, hands on her hips. And I don't care for things that don't bend to me. Callan laughed, the sound free, unbroken. You're threatening fruit now? Alani turned, storm gray eyes sparking mischief. Sweetheart, you knew I was a tyrant when you kissed me. Callan set down her coffee, wrapping her arms around Alani's waist from behind. You're not a tyrant anymore. Alani leaned back into her, softening. No. I'm yours. Later, as the sun sank into the sea, Kenzie joined them at the table, wine poured, laughter breaking old scars. They were still family, fractured and rebuilt in fire. Interpol had taken Monroe's drive. The crown was dismantled, its wolves gone. Their names cleared. Their ghosts buried. Callan raised her glass, eyes on the woman beside her. To freedom. Alani's smile was rare, real. She clinked her glass softly. To us. That night, after Kenzie drifted to sleep upstairs, the villa was quiet except for the ocean's whisper. Callan stood by the open window, moonlight painting silver across her skin. Alani approached silently, barefoot, silk robe loose, hair tumbling free. You're thinking again, Alani murmured, sliding arms around her waist. Callan chuckled, tilting her head back. You make it sound like a crime. It is, Alani whispered against her throat. Thinking when you could be touching. Callan turned, trapping Alani's storm gray eyes with her own. No shadows. No enemies. Just heat. You're dangerous when you're soft, Callan said. Alani smirked, lips hovering close. Sweetheart, I was always dangerous. You just finally stopped running from it. Their mouths met, slow, molten, a kiss that was less about possession and more about surrender. Callan's hands cupped Alani's jaw, Alani's fingers tangled in Callan's hair, pulling her closer, deeper, as if the world might vanish if they let go. They stumbled back toward the bed, laughter breaking between kisses. Alani pushed Callan down onto the linen sheets, climbing over her, her silk robe slipping open. You're supposed to be the ice queen, Callan teased, husky. Alani's smirk curved wicked. I melt only for you. They loved each other like survivors who had finally found dawn, tender and fierce, laughter breaking through moans, hands mapping scars and skin like sacred ground. Her lips trailed heat down Callan's throat, hands mapping familiar scars like they were cartography of belonging. Callan's fingers pressed into Alani's hips, grounding herself in the reality of skin, warmth, life. Hours later, the storm had gentled into quiet. They lay tangled in sheets, Callan tracing slow circles across Alani's bare shoulder. Do you ever miss it? The fire, the fight. Alani tilted her head, eyes softened to dusk. No. I still have fire. It just burns differently now. Callan brushed her lips over Alani's temple. And where does it burn? Alani turned, whispering against her mouth. With you. And so, the Storm Queen and her wolf laid down their crowns of fire. No longer hunted. No longer haunted. Not fugitives. Not fugitives at all. Free. Alive. Together. Forever. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe and like this video and follow me for more stories. You are always welcome here, and leave me a comment or a thumbs up, just letting me know if you like the story and would like more, or is there perhaps an idea that you would like to share or let me write for you.